Okay.
Hi everyone and good evening. How are you guys doing? Everyone good? Okay. Tonight we will
Good.
be interviewing two of our engineers, which are Mr. Muhammad and Mr. Harid. First of all, my name is Qistina Razak, and this is my colleague, Shah Idzrai, Dayana, Maisara Hadziqah, and Ahmad Shazwan. First of all, a little get to know with both of you guys. Starting with Mr. Muhammad, can you start first?
Yeah, sure. Um, Thank you, Qistina. My name is Muhammad Al-Muntaza. I'm 25 years old. I've been working in this industry for almost 3 years. Started in 2020. So I registered with BNM also in 2020. After I graduated, I straight away registered with BNM because the university they provide us the platform to register for as a graduate engineer. Um, so there's a question that Christina asked me before this interview. It's like about the best memory I had in the company. I would say uh, also, I worked at Pengarang Terminals 2 in Johor. Pengarang Johor. But terminals is more towards like the shipping. So best memory is being in a cruise tanker cruise ship. So it's very fancy lah. The Arabs are very rich. So I feel like in a 5-star punya hotel. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
How about Mr. Harid? Can you uh, can you talk uh, about yourself?
Okay, alright. Hi everyone. My name is Haris Hakim. I am 25 years old. I've been working in Top Glove almost 3 years. And the other question is, I've registered with VBM. Yes, same as Al-Mutazah. Nowadays, most of the universities have been like, after you graduated, you will be automatically registered with BNM. So the authorities or the management of institute will make sure you are registered with the BMM, so you don't need to manually register by yourself. They just, I'm not sure really the public university do that, but in our university we do that. And then the last question is, what is the best memory you had in the company? Is okay, in the process of glove making, right? We do have one is called to cure the glove on the former. So we are using the ovens. Some of the factories do have 5 ovens. So in my factories, which is factories F40, this is due to expansion during. Okay, actually F40 is a new factory uh, during the COVID time when the surge demand in gloves. So Top Glove expand this factory is F40. So F40 is a new factory, new device, everything. So they put all the ovens. I mean the biggest oven among the other countries. There's a 5 zones. So what's the best memories I had is hot there. Over there is very hot. So every day I'm working, I will work in this. It's like I will go to the spa. So that's my best memory lah.
That's the best one.
That's the best one. Yes, if you feel like you want to sleep in the office, right? When you do some things, and then I will go to the oven there, and then yeah, start to sweating, and then I'm feel awake. Yeah, that's my best memory. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Harid. Okay, next we can proceed to our first question.
So I will ask for the first question. Okay. Since you work at the company, is there any issue like the company using chemical materials that can cause problems or hazards to the public? And what will the procedure of you as an engineer and the company to overcome it? So that's my question.
Okay, so who's going to start first?
You can start, Harid.
Okay, I start first. Okay, in Top Glove F40 factories, we are producing synthetic rubber gloves. So this synthetic rubber glove consists the process of using chlorine to make sure the glove is toning. or cure after oven. And then this they use the chlorine gas, highly pressured gas. So they put in the gas room, right? So this gas room, there's a lot of chlorine gas. It's a yellow. So I remember it's a yellow colored gas tank. Yeah, we call it. And then one day, somehow the suppliers are making the jobs at the gas rooms, and somehow is causing the chlorine gas to leak. Okay, this is true event. This is I'm not made up. This is true event. So before the accidents, right? Before like you are working fully on the job scope that you're doing, we are briefed by safety officer on what's the preventive action that you need to do. Okay, when this accident will cause, then what you need to do. So we do have that all the procedures made by the safety officers, so we just follow it. So as my part as a production engineer, what I did was I in charge of the managed operators under me. So I'll tell them operators, hey, you need to go outside to the assembly MGC assembly area. Don't work, stop all the productions, go outside. So that's my part. Okay. So and I need to make sure also all the headcount is tally with the attendance. So if there's not tally, maybe some of the people are still inside the factories, or maybe they are suffering in the chlorine gas. So so far, during the accident, so far the account is 100% lah, not less, not more. So that's my experience and the procedures, right? For me, the procedures for my side is to make sure all the operators stay away from the factories. They all go to the administrative assembly area, and that's my procedure. For the safety side, maybe the safety officer got their equipment, right? Equipment, oxygen tanks, and then they will check inside the gas room how the condition, everything. Is there any abnormality, or is there any like person uh, die or what? So that's the safety officer side. So our side is different. So that's it. So how about you, Mun?
Okay, so since I'm working in the terminal, so there's a lot of tanks involved and a lot of chemicals, petroleum, benzene, very dangerous chemicals can cause cancer, carcinogenic. So the main concern is during heavy rain at Pengerang, is where the heavy flow of water coming into the settling onto the tanks. So the water coming out, we cannot just simply let it go to the sea. So because if it's gonna mix with some, at least some chemicals, like gonna mix with some chemicals. So if we just leave it like that, so it's gonna damage the surrounding community, the fishing community around there. So it can badly affect the public. So what we did was we have to complete the wastewater treatment plant internally, and you need to have like SOPs. What happen if, let's say, oil spill or chemical spill? What should we do? And we have the response team, and we have the emergency shut valve at the outlet of the wastewater. So we have to monitor a lot of things, like in terms of the purity of the water. Certain amount of chemicals are allowed to be discharged into the sea, and also the temperature, because we also suck in we also suck in the seawater to cool down our plants. So those are the things that we need to monitor lah. So and then with these procedures combined, there are accidents where some oil spills, some pump broken, and then there's a lot of crude oil, sour oil. It it's a disaster lah. I think you guys heard also Pengerang, a lot of explosions and stuff, right? So yeah, so that's why the procedure is needed lah. So for me, it's like the operation engineer. We need to always, like Harith now, we need to monitor our operators, make them aware if let's say any third party contractors want to do some whatever hot works ke apa ke, so they need to do high rack lah. And also operators, if they want to do anything, then they need to do high rack also, and present to me, and then I will show to the safety team, and it's okay, it's a go, then they can do the work. So these are the preventive measures that we have in pengarang terminals.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ahmad. Next is the second question.
I will ask you question. What was the most interesting project that you have been done as an engineer?
I'll start first.
Okay.
So during my time at my first year in as an operation engineer, I was tasked to because we have flares at of course lah, all terminals need to have flares, right? So but we usually use the cylinder one. We need to refill, change the butane tank every 2-3 days, depends on the usage of the flare. So my task is to design like a tap from the methane tank. So I need to tap in from the huge tank, and then I need to bring it to the flare. So I need to calculate the calculation of the pipes, the flow, all the physics, and all the thermodynamics. So it's very hard. So but actually I work with one of another my teammate lah. So it took around 1 month plus 2. We need to measure and really triple check the calculations. So before the management can accept. So all the questions, whatever kind of technical stuff, the vendors outside, they will ask us questions like, "Are you sure?" So and then we need to prove lah. And then and there I learned we can actually ask them back. So we believe that it's like this, and then we can ask them back. You think, is it okay? So because they are the evaluators, right? So usually the evaluators, they will say like, okay lah. They don't also do the calculation, but yeah, it's a successful project, alhamdulillah. So we can save around few 100,000 lah, actually, in terms of operational costs.
It's a very interesting project lah. Okay, next, how about Mr. Harid?
Haris, your mute.
Sorry. Okay, for me, I want to tell about 2 projects or assignment that have given to me, or my ideas. Okay. First of all, in Top Glove, right? Top Glove is during COVID time, the demand is huge, and then we need to supply more to the customers. So we need to produce more with less defects. However, during my time, there was defects. There's a lot of defects. Total, I think around 80 to 90 defects. So I give one defect to you, which is a lump stuck onto the gloves. Okay, onto the gloves. When you wear it, you see like there's a lump. Okay, so this lump can cause customer complaints if the customer will see. So one of my major improvement that I need to do is cost saving. All of us, we have given KPI to do at least 2 improvement project in 1 year. Okay, no matter what's project, you need to do the improvement project with cost saving. So my project is I need to reduce the lump lump defects, and also cost saving lah, because if you got a lump on the glove, right, it can cost to be a second grade. Second grade is half price of the first grade of gloves. So you're lost there, right? You are making loss. You are not making money, right? So one of the challenges is how I want to overcome this is, first of all, I need to know what's causing the lump to form. So back then, the lump causes by the high temperature in the latex tank that causing the lump to accumulate on the latex tank itself. So why? So I trace back the previous process is from the oven in the coagulant oven. So the coagulant oven, the heat loss there is quite high. So what I did, I put some barriers to make sure that the heat is not lost into the latex tank, that causing the temperature to rise in the latex tank and causing more alarm to produce. So I work out with the mechanical or maintenance team on how to put the barrier or the heat loss barrier onto the coagulant oven, and the project saves like around 450,000 ringgit per year. Per year, yeah, per year. So that's one lah. And another one is, yeah, we are moving towards 4.0, right? Digitalization or automation. So in Top Glove, right, we do have manual jobs like manual declarations. Manual declarations somehow like we need to make sure that the gloves weight is in compliance. So in the process, right, there's a four formers. Okay, this is two, so there's four. So the operators every half an hour they need to take 10 from each side, 10, 10, 10, 10. So there's 40, right? They need to measure 10, 10, 10 the weight. So they need to make sure that the weight is in within the standard. So it cannot be overweight, because overweight you are using a lot of latex, right? You're making loss. If too short, maybe the glove is too thin, easy to tear. So then we need to make sure it's within the spec. So however, when how the process is, the workers or operators take it and then they put the weighing machine, and then they see it. Somehow there's no no recordings. They need to put in manually, need to write it. So as my project, I need to make it as automation. So when they click, it automatically record lah the data. And then after that, I can trace back the previous for past few hours, the data is in compliance or not. So yeah, if not in compliance, I need to ask for that specific line or production line, what's the parameter again? Because we need to control a lot of parameters in production lines. So that's my project, basically.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hari, for the third question. Uh,
So for third question, during your work time, of course, a lot of issue that both of you face, right? Like quality issue, machine breakdown, and so on. The question is, how do you overcome it?
Okay, I answer first. Kemon.
Boleh.
Okay, in Top Glove, right, we have a lot of production lines. Back then, my factories, we do have two blocks. One block consists of 10 production lines. Okay, so I'm not taking care of all 10. I'm taking care of just 4 production lines. Okay, 4 production lines is quite high lah. I mean, the production rate is quite high. So every how, okay, first of all, the question is, have you, okay,
How to overcome?
okay, during machine breakdown or defect, okay, when the defect is come, right, how to overcome it? Okay, first of all, we need to have correct procedures or preventive actions. Preventive action is right, we want to prevent it. Okay, if you cannot prevent it and then there's still a defect, then we need to have a corrective actions. So this preventive actions is for long-term procedures, for long-term production. Okay, so we need to tackle on how that defect will come, how it will accumulate, and how it will occur lah. Okay, so we do have how to say, R&D teams. Somehow R&D teams will help us on how to overcome the defects also. And if the equipment parts like the temperatures or the sensor is not working, we do have a maintenance team that can supply us the proper tools or proper equipments that make us control the parameters very accurate. So that's one of it, how we overcome it. And for the machine breakdown, right? Machine breakdown is mostly if we know how to control or how to troubleshoot the machine, then we do lah. But if we still cannot do, then we need to call the supplier or the vendor of the machine itself, or from the maintenance department. They can do all the troubleshooting. Okay.
how about you, Mr. Muhammad.
Mr. Muhammad.
So among my friends, they call me Moon, Qistina.
Okay. Mr. Moon.
So but then Muhammad pun boleh. Alright. So pengarang, machine breakdown, whatever issue, a lot of things. Like every month, every single month, there is a problem. It's either major or not only. So we have death, we have missing finger, we have pump exploded, we have leak in the pipeline, and the worst ones was the recent one, the pipe rack at Pengerang leak, and then they burned. So you can see the videos where all the operators, they ran away, right? So the fire was short, but then the repairing process is going to take a long time. So we have to stop the operation for a while. So just one interesting thing that wish to share is on the let's talk about related to mechanical. So the pump breakdown. The reason why it broke down is because the flow because there's not enough flow of the crude oil, and because the crude oil is sour oil, so sorry. So because the crude oil is sour oil, so it has a lot of sulfur, right? Sulfuric acid, so it can corrode the pump easily. So that is the fault in the third party, the vendor side. They did include this because the pump was not meant for sour crude. But then because we know the team knew that the sour crude might be used there. So but then they want to save cost. They don't use the high performance punya pump. So and it causes the pump breakdown, and then when they go full blast on the pump, so it just cannot work lah. So and then the oil spills a lot, so much. Sour crude is very dangerous. Dia ada H2S. So it can cause death if you don't wear proper safety equipment. So you have to wear mask like the hazmat punya mask tu. And for my job and my team job, after the cleanup was we have to measure the how much loss. We have to look at the puddle that has been cleaned, because we can see on the floor it's like you have a tar is like jalan raya and tar. After a while it will become grey kan. So and after crude punya spill to the tar will become black again. So you can see the pattern of the puddle. So you have to calculate and estimate how much is the volume loss and how much product loss. So you have to tally dengan the tank lah, sekarang tank punya volume tu kan. So and then so that's the fault lah. That's the fault in the planning lah, I would say, because in the PNID, we have I mean the operators, I think they mislook. Even my team pun ada mistake lah. We mislook at the pump punya capacity apa semua. Usually when you look at PNID, we have to buat line check tau. We have to go to the site and verify is it the same or not. So we have to keep updated with the site and the PNID, the latest PNID. So the pump memang specs dia is not meant for sour crude, but then kita masukkan sour crude, so dia rosak lah. So itu can cause like if let's say no operators are at the pump, and kita buat automated no operators are at the pump during that time, masa tu sebab kita baru nak buat, so adalah operators yang keep watch lah. So if there's no operators, then the spill could be a lot worse lah, because we did not stop the valve in time, and it could harm the whole facility actually. So because when it catches fire and it's fuel lah. So when it catches fire ataupun it drains into the sea ke, so it's gonna do harm lah to people. Okay, so I think that's my side. Okay. So how do we overcome? I forgot to tell how do we overcome. A lot of man work kita a lot of man work. So yang dah balik punya operators pun we have to call back kita ada 3 shift so kita ada shift yang cuti, shift yang pagi, shift yang malam. So if kita terpaksa panggil semua datang clean it up lah as soon as possible. So extra OT apa semua tu extra cost lah, kita kena bayar lah operator OT kan. So yeah, itu lah how do we overcome it.
Thank God nothing happen
Yeah.
like the movie. Okay. Next for question 4.
Since you have an experience of being an engineer, you most likely have heard a term of customer service, right? Isn't it? How do you act when the client is being troublesome or being so fussy?
Being so fussy. Mostly in engineering punya world lah kan. It's like everything is technical tau. Everything must be logical. So they can be fussy but logically fussy. So we have to overcome dengan a rational and logical explanation lah to explain to them. Usually they can accept it. And I give an example lah. So this crude oil tanker, they wanna berth in our jetty, right? So we have to wait. They have to wait for a while because they need to pass on the customs and everything. So baby lah kan, why so late, why this, why that, and then we have to explain, oh, the sea is rough, so, and then we still haven't get a confirmation yet from this, we are trying to do this, we do that, so they cannot say no to that lah because it's procedure. So our customer is mostly tankers lah, ships whatever, the liquid tankers ke ataupun the gas tankers ke. So if we do our job well and fast as we can lah, doesn't mean it's fast. So it might take a few hours, maybe half a day to berth in the ship. Maybe the line have some problem, but we have to explain. You want to proceed? Okay, can. If anything happen, you bear the cost. so there's like, okay lah, we wait lah. So usually the tankers they're okay lah. That's our client lah. How about you, Hari?
Okay, for me, right, in Top Glove, we do have a QA department, and every month we usually get a kappa or customer complaints. Then we need to, sorry, kappa is not customer complaint. We do receive a customer complaint, and then we need to do a kappa, which is a corrective action and preventive action reports. Okay, this kappa is requested by customers, and then we need to show them all the technicals or the parameters, all the data that is recorded. Okay, like before this, I do the automation, right? So they recorded the glove width. So actually, there's other sensors, all the temperature sensors, pressure sensors. We do have all the recorded data. So we just need to liaise with the customer when the date, QA. We need to liaise with the QA side when is the production date of that glove, and then we need to see what's the parameters of the production during that time. Okay, so is it okay or not? Is it during that time the defect is quite high or not? The QA is acceptable or not? Everything. So we need to discuss, and we need to do a corrective action and also preventive action. Okay, corrective is just like how to say, it's just short term corrective action. Okay, for preventive action also we need to do. So corrective action somehow like, how to say, short term lah. If technical side is too rough, but for simple side is it's like, see, it's okay. So preventive is mostly is our project lah. So there's a mistake in the system. So maybe we make it as opportunities for us to improve on the quality side, because customer wants quality, right? They want the output also, but they want the quality. So we need to balance it, because output and quality, if you want high output and high quality, that's not making sense. Okay, you will get the output, but it's cost time lah. The production time will be long. But if you want short time, more output, then your defect will high lah. So you need to sacrifice on these things. So some customers they are very strict on the quality, such as Europe countries. They do have a EN Act, Europe Act on the gloves. So the strict or the QA acceptance is quite high lah, actually. Means we need to have a low defects in like hundreds glove, right? Maybe like 1 to 2 tearing. Another 98 is perfect glove, something like that. So we take this as opportunities for us on how to improve lah, on the quality side. And mostly customer are okay with that because we have a lot of customers. If they don't want us, we can take others.
Alright, thank you, Mr. Harvey. Okay, for the last question, as engineer, what do you do to yourself so that people will honor your reputation as an engineer? Can we start?
Okay,
Mr. Harvey?
what I do to myself is first I'm being honest lah. Honesty is actually quite important lah. Because if you don't honest with yourself, right, how you want to be honest with others? Okay, and then you need to have a high integrity. Don't make false in your data. Don't make false claim to your customer because your customer, right, somehow they need the data from you and then you provide the good data or you make it fake. But the data is false. So integrity and honesty is good lah. And then, right, how people will handle your reputation is how you communicate with others. Okay, because under me is like there's around 30 to 40 operators and mostly of them are foreigners. Okay, these foreigners are not well known. Their language is, we do have a language barrier because some of them are not Malays because yeah, they come here, right, not trained to speak Malay. Some of them know English, so that's the barrier. So we need to communicate effectively lah amongst the, and then during changing shift, right, we need to communicate between morning shift and night shift. What is the constraint? What's the bottleneck issues faced during morning, and then something like that lah. Everything, all the issues, and then how to overcome it. You don't need to somehow if you want to blame others, you need to take a look on yourself first. Is there any wrong with me? If there's no, maybe it's from others. So others, maybe you need to know lah how, what's the problem, everything, then how to improve it. You take it as opportunity so that people will honor you. So how about you, Mr. Muhammad?
So for me, it's about the same as Harry. The principle of an engineer, you need to be truthful, honest, and you have to have integrity in your work. Whatever mistakes that you do, you have to admit. You don't point fingers to others, and then like the datas. If let's say you have a accidents or incident, whatever, so you have to declare, you have to tell. But there are things like the company might do not want to tell the OSHA macam tu kan. So maybe we can discuss dengan operators. We have one yang kilang jari. But supposedly kena bagi tahu apa semua and then dia kata okay, tak apalah, we give you compensation. I will take compensation, dia kata. So then okay lah. So but then it's up to discussion lah. But by right for me whistleblowing punya policy pun kena ada juga kan. So if anyone yang we had a lot of problems with the contractors stealing our gasket. So but then some of our operators knew who is the contractor is, and then they informed lah. So we did, which is very good lah. And the company compensate lah. Also I compensated lah the operators for their good behavior. So yeah, that's the thing. When you being honest, like when you look at when the audit is done by the auditors lah, external auditors, you're gonna have good reputation lah. You're gonna have people gonna respect you because tak ada silent duit, hilang duit here and there, no missing items, right? We had one case. There's a missing pump. I don't know how can the pump go out from there. So it must be someone inside. It's an expensive pump, 30,000-40,000 ringgit. Dollars, I can't remember. It was like 2 years back punya incident lah. So but then we lagi tighten lah the security there. But then we talk about ni lah, if you want to keep our reputation and honor, we have to always be honest lah, and very disciplined. I would say disciplined with our paperwork and work and jobs now, whatever we do. Okay, that's all.
Okay, thank you for the knowledge. Thank you for all for participating in this interview, and thank you to Mr. Moon and Mr. Harid Hakim for your time and willing to participate in this interview and share with us some knowledge about what is the life of engineer out there. So I hope that the knowledge that you're given to us can be useful to our future, and we can use it for our engineer next time.
Thank you.
Okay, welcome all. Thank you for
Baik.
inviting me for this interview sessions.
Tak ada sisi ambil gambar.
Hope this is meaningful.
Ambil gambar.
Semua senyum 3.